Tracy, I'm just going to get my chicken out.
She's got to get a chicken out. Hello to everybody watching us on Facebook, YouTube, and the Cooks Collective. If you're watching us live, let us know with a like, a thumbs up. Ask any questions as we go through. That looks good.
It is. Smells fantastic. Smells fantastic.
That's right. So you've just brought a chicken out, and what's that going with?
On today's video, we're going to show you how to pimp up your cauliflower. It's not particularly exotic, is it? It's not like Moroccan or Indian or anything like that, but we're using a couple of different spices, and it's just something that I came up with in the UK when I was there on holiday, and everyone loved it, especially my mum, and she's got really good taste, so she likes something that I cook, then I think I'm onto a winner.
Right.
So I popped it up on Facebook saying, look what I've done with my cauliflower, and
everybody
and I
wanted you
said,
to-
yeah, I said, who wants the recipe? And lots of people said, yes, please.
Me.
So we thought we'd actually do it with a roast chicken here. So it's just resting there. So
Yeah.
Yep. So if you're not quite sure how to cook a roast chicken,
Go on the Cooks Collective.
Yeah.
If you
'Cause it's
remember,
on there.
we've done a roast chicken on there
Yeah.
on the Keep It Simple section.
absolutely.
So we're going to start off with some breadcrumbs, and I'm going to toast them. And what are they called?
So
Poor
this
man's
is an
parmesan.
Italian thing, yeah. So I was thinking about the cauliflower and about a little bit of texture with the cauliflower as well. So we're going to serve it today with a creamy Labne sort of base to it, and Bry's going to be toasting some crumbs while I'm tossing the cauliflower
Organising
and
everything.
things
It's
like
actually
that.
quite simple, this dish, isn't it?
Oh, I definitely
But
think
it's
it is.
about the
whole thing is about making the vegetable the star.
And we're talking about textures, and hence the breadcrumbs, texture, flavour. So you don't have to be too extravagant or exotic, as you were saying
No.
before.
No, it's definitely things that hopefully, you know, if you cook at all at home, you might even have at home. You might have a lemon on your tree. You might have a cauliflower in your garden, but I don't.
I've got lemon on the neighbour's tree. I
Have you?
just get the stepladder out.
So, cauliflower, there seems to be a lot of recipes for more Indian style cauliflower or Moroccan style cauliflower, but what if you just want something simple for midweek? I think this is a really nice thing to go with roasted chicken or chicken breast, or what did you say
I
earlier?
want lamb chops.
Lamb
It's my
chops.
favourite.
So Bry's got some
yeah, so-
sourdough breadcrumbs, some nice breadcrumbs.
Yeah, we
not
make our
nasty.
own breadcrumbs, not nasty ones
Definitely
with all
nice
the
ones.
nasty additives. And this is actually sourdough from our sourdough that we made in the sourdough class, ironically.
It is, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
wonderful.
so even better. And just heated up the pan, got some olive oil in there, and just tossing the breadcrumbs in the olive oil.
Yeah, because you can see some of them have taken up the oil. So
Oil,
if you
yep.
keep stirring to start off with,
Yeah.
because that olive oil is going to take a little while to go right the way through the crumbs. So I can see some that are
Without-
not
yeah.
olive oiled, and some, so just keep stirring constantly to just get that olive oil right the way round. And you've got it on medium sort of
Yeah, I
heat,
just turned it up to
probably.
get some heat in
Yeah.
there, but yep.
A medium heat, because you don't want to burn your crumbs, but you want to get them really nice and crunchy. So yeah, I was taught this years and years ago by Simona, and being Italian, she said, oh, they're poor man's parmesan, but in a beautiful Italian accent. And I love putting crumbs like this on different soft foods, because it
Yeah.
just gives that
Crunch.
lovely crunch, makes it a little bit more special. Optional extra really in this recipe, but very worthwhile doing.
Yep, certainly is.
So
I'll just keep stirring my crumbs.
she'll keep stirring her crumbs and probably asking me questions. Please ask questions if you've got any questions during this video as well, and we will certainly answer them. So I've got a little bit of cauliflower left here, so I was just going to show you basically how to prep it really quickly, because I'm a bit concerned that everyone's sort of going to go and just get their little florets of cauliflower and just take quite a long time in actually prepping the cauliflower. But what I normally do is just do something like this, because I find it really quick.
Yeah, and don't waste the stalks.
No, put the stalks in with
Broccoli
that
and
as well.
cauliflower.
Absolutely. So there's some smaller pieces that will get slightly browner in the oven, and some bigger pieces that will possibly still have a little bit of not crunch, because cauliflower's, well, I suppose if it's super raw it's crunchy, but just a little bit of crunch. Now, one thing that I did put in this cauliflower, which I think really makes the flavour quite delish,
Yeah.
is lemon. Just zinging it up with a little
That's
bit
right.
of
So it's almost like a
lemon
little bit
juice.
of it is a marinade for the cauliflower
Yeah.
to add some flavour to it. I think that might be why some people don't like it as much, is that it's quite bland unless you season it or flavour it.
Very possibly, absolutely. This is why so many people love cauliflower with white sauce, don't they?
Yes.
Included with lots
Kids.
of cheese on it. So a little bit of seasoning on here, and now this is wet. All the seasoning and everything will stick to it as well. I quite like to put salt and pepper on first. We were talking about this. Somebody asked me this in the class last week, and I thought it was a really good question. They were putting the ras el hanout on the chicken breast for the Moroccan class.
Right.
And they were saying, which do I put on? Do I put on the salt first, or do I put on the spice first? And I thought, God, I don't think anyone's ever asked me that question.
It's interesting.
So I stopped for a split second and thought, if you put the spice on, it's really finely ground, and it's going to cover the chicken breast, and then because you got oil on it as well, that's going to cover the chicken breast. If you put on the salt flakes, then after that, it's going to fall off, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you put the salt flakes on first because they're bigger. They'll stick to the chicken breast, and then you put the
and then they may also have time to sort of
seasoning on. Yeah,
absorb,
absolutely.
actually season the meat, and then spice it, and then the spice mix is on the outside to toast the spices.
Oh, just brilliant. Wow. So salt first, and then spice, because the salt flakes are bigger. The Murray River salt flakes are
It's
bigger.
interesting sometimes, like we've done classes, I know you're just off subject, where like done the same class for ages, and then somebody will ask us a question that we've never been asked before. And it's like, let me think about that.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. So that's why we get to learn and make sure that we know everything by people asking us questions, don't we? So the two spices that I chose that were in my sister's pantry, along with loads of others, but coriander seeds and mild paprika. So paprika, give it a little bit of warmth as well. I'm not measuring this out, but all the measurements are on the recipe because I'm not doing a...
Well, you're not doing the amount that's
I'm not
in the
doing
recipe.
the proper amount.
We've already got that in the oven.
You, yes, the bits that you'll be doing. Not in... Yeah. So just check out the recipe. That's all I'm saying. And some coriander. So I've chose coriander as well because it sort of echoes hauntingly, I think.
With
echoes the flavour of the lemon.
Yeah, because they're both sort of zesty.
So it's really, really
flavours.
nice. And then last but not least, our trusty extra virgin olive oil. So obviously we have to have a little bit of oil on there for it to roast and colour and get really, really yummy.
I think these are almost done.
I think they look fantastic. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm actually going to turn that off because there's still heat in that pan and they're pretty toasty.
And they'll be absolutely perfect. So with the cauliflower here, I'm going to leave this to marinate for half an hour because it really does seem to go right the way through the cauliflower. It's really, really nice. So we'll set this aside. I feel like I'm on Blue Peter. And we'll get that one out from the...
I'll get that out.
Oven shortly. Well, it's
shortly.
Not done.
It's not ready.
5 minutes.
Where's my gloves? I'll have to find some oven gloves. Then.
Oh, they're here because I was
hiding. Thanks.
There you go.
All right.
So
with that,
let's have a look at the Labne because to make Labne is quite a handy thing to know how to make. So Labne basically is strained yogurt, not like this, not like that. Strained through a sieve.
So didn't need
inappropriate, really, wasn't it? But anyway, the cameraman said it was very inappropriate. I'm going to get told off afterwards. So we're using natural yogurt. We're not using fruit of the forest or mango and passion fruit.
But Greek yogurt as well we like.
Well, we do like the Greek yogurt.
Yes.
I think it's just a little bit zingier. That's all, really, isn't it? But if you can get some local, a local brand, we know the one that we use in WA. It's a nice local brand, Mandela yogurt. We really, really like that one. And this one has actually been in the fridge. We actually put it in the fridge for a couple of days. And this is actually, you can see it's really, really thick. So this one you could almost get if you've got one of those little scoopies. Have you got one of a scoopy?
Scoop.
So if you want to make Labne balls, there's a little ice creamy scoopy thing that you can buy from kitchenware shops, and you can make little Labne balls. And I would definitely put some salt in this, by the way, because otherwise it's just like that. Put some salt in it, just a little bit of salt to balance out the sourness of the yogurt, and it just evens it out, doesn't it, like that. And then you could just roll those balls in sumac or
Za'atar.
za'atar, or even just some fresh
Herbs.
parsley or parsley and chives or chives, whatever, if you want to. And those are beautiful served with, you know, like a charcuterie plate with some fresh pita breads or something, some fresh flatbread, something like that, because then
Nice.
you've got your nice little smear of yogurt
Scoopy.
on that. And you can see how much whey has come out of that yogurt. This was 500 grams, was it? Because it looks quite a lot
Litre.
still. I was going to say.
Later.
Okay, so this is a litre, so we'll make some Labne balls a bit later on. In the recipe, it's got 500 grams, so I thought, crikey, this is really amazing yogurt. But you'll get half of this, obviously, if you put 500 grams into a sieve. Just be aware you don't want to put a metal sieve. This is a plastic sieve, because if you put the metal sieve on, if you put it in a metal sieve, often the metal sieve has got some sort of like it's not stainless steel, is it? And with the
Corrodes
acid
a
in the
bit, yeah.
in the
Yeah.
yogurt, I've forgotten what it was then. It may cause it a little bit tainted with the metal. Hey? So this has, as I said, this is really stiff. So if you get to this stage, like when I did it at my sister's place, I had like an hour to strain it, and that's all that was needed. But that's a very interesting thing to go through. But what I would like to do is just add a little bit more whey just back into that yogurt, because we've gone a little bit too far.
So you're going to smear it on the bottom of the dish.
Because you want it to be gluggy like that.
Okay.
But I want it to be smearable. So Bry's got, I was saying to Bry earlier, what should we tell them to do with the whey? Because it seems an awful waste to throw the whey away, doesn't it? Look at that. And so I just thought I was going to say I put it in smoothies, because it's got all the lactobacillus, hasn't it, in there?
Yeah.
The good,
All the good stuff.
bugs.
It's still, you know, the byproduct of that, because what do we do? Well, we have ricotta.
Ricotta in our
that's
farmhouse
right.
class.
So
That's it.
you can give it to the dogs. It's good for their coat. You could put it in stocks, soups as well. You can use it as the liquid content for bread. So anytime you want to use a liquid, then use this, so you're not wasting it. But a couple of other ones which I quite like, and I think we'll be doing afterwards, is having a bit of a facial with it. Or a bit in the bath would be really good. So imagine
run
your
a bath
skin.
and have a bath in
Yeah,
whey.
that's right.
Have you ever tried that? Do you sort of smell of yogurt afterwards?
No.
Strange.
No.
Don't know. Tell us if you've tried bathing
Yeah.
in whey. So what does the whey do to your skin?
I
Do
don't
you
know.
know?
I'm sure it makes it nice and luscious.
Okay. Nice and luscious.
Luscious.
That's what we want, is luscious.
That's right.
Luscious, soft skin with
Well,
whey.
I'll take it home tonight and give it a try then. shall I?
Whey, the whey.
Let you know.
Yes.
Whey.
And
No
we'll
way.
do the facial a little bit later on after we finish
Yeah,
with
but
this.
if you have any sort of liquid, like if you make any sort of masks or something like that, facials, you can use that as a liquid. Oh, cauliflower time.
I
Cool.
reckon. So I'm just, we've just nipped out to our kitchen garden, and I've got some parsley, actually, which is from my garden, and chives, which aren't from my garden. And unfortunately, we didn't find any chive flowers because the recipe actually shows the cauliflower chive flowers on the top.
Yeah.
Do you want to check that?
Yeah, I just want to bring it out to here when you finish chopping.
Of course. Chive flowers, because my sister had chive flowers in her garden. And I don't have any chive flowers in my garden.
Okay.
That looks delish, doesn't it?
Beautiful.
Oh,
Is that underneath
fantastic.
for
Absolutely
viewing?
delicious. So she had chive flowers in the garden, so I put chive flowers on it.
Yes.
But I've got, the only flowers I had in my garden this morning were some violets.
Okay. Can you eat violets?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh
And
my
they're
gosh.
they're really absolutely, they're
What are
delicious.
they?
They actually taste like violet.
What are those?
Have you ever had those violet sweets?
I've had violet
lollies?
crumble.
That's got no violet in whatsoever. It's only, I know, why is it called violet
I don't
crumble? I
know.
never understood
I
that.
don't know. Crazy.
Because the wrapper's violet.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Must be.
Oh, typically Australian, isn't it? That's crazy.
No,
excuse
what
me.
are those flowers, edible flowers?
Poppies? No,
Chrysa-
not
not
poppies. That's
chrysanthemums?
opium.
Poppies.
No,
Mushrooms.
they're like that, aren't they? No, the flowers. Are you talking about?
Nasturtiums.
Oh,
That's
no,
the
no.
ones I was thinking.
Yeah,
oh,
no,
that,
no, I wasn't thinking about
that was not your
nasturtiums at all.
impression.
What are the ones that are grown in springtime?
I have no idea.
Daisies, no.
Oh,
How
sunflowers.
silly. How silly that is.
That's-
On set of early
What?
dementia, whatever.
Apparently,
Oh,
I'm being silly today too.
you are. I love it. I love it when you're
It's
a bit silly.
infectious.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. Oh,
Well, I had one job to do. I
so
cooked
look,
the
now
the
I
crumbs.
know. Now we've gone all silly. I didn't put any salt in our labna. So you can salt it afterwards if you want.
You just
to.
sprinkle it on.
Yeah.
That's right. Everything else is seasoned.
It's going to
Well,
be delicious.
cauliflower is.
It's going to be delicious.
Yeah, I like your swirl.
Do you like my swells? Okay. And on goes the cauliflower.
Got some nice little charring on the edges of
It
some of those.
is,
It's going to add
it
some great
is.
flavour.
It's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to go this way. So I quite like the old lift and lift and tumble.
It's lift and tumble.
Lift and
Oh,
tumble.
and dump.
And no, it's tumbling. That wasn't
Tumbling.
dumping.
Beautiful. I'll
Thank
take
you.
that out of the way.
Thank you. We want it about there. I'm going to put a few herbs on first, but I'd like you to also sprinkle your crumbs on
Sprinkle
the top,
my
please.
crumbs. And what are we doing with this
Well,
chicken?
we're just going to open the
Open it and pop it next
Open
to
it,
it.
yeah,
Is it
and
just as a decorative
just-
chicken.
just so that you can see. It's just an excuse to roast a chicken.
All
really,
right, that's
wasn't
what. This is Tracy's dinner tonight. Obviously, she wanted to have a.
it? So how
Let
hot
me-
is it? Yeah. Let me
Let me do
it.
something. I did the breadcrumbs. They're pretty good breadcrumbs.
Loads.
Loads. All
Yeah,
right,
like
loads.
most of that.
All right.
Oh, delicious.
Oh, yeah.
See, I'd like stuff.
Yeah, I like that
yeah.
there.
Yeah. Do you? Do you like that there? Okay, and a bit more. A
Okay.
few more
Herbs.
herbs on the top. Absolutely beautiful. And then oh, I've dropped one.
Dropped a flower. All right, it's just for you.
This is just for us, okay? We're not feeding it to anyone else, and I'm really don't mind a violet that's been dropped on the floor. All right, I just want these violets to show. Can you see
That
them,
is
cameraman?
pretty.
In the
So pretty.
yeah, because I've sacrificed these violets from my garden for this video today.
But
So
you
I
can't
hope-
just pick any flower from
I
the
ho-
garden,
hope
can
you. I hope you enjoy them. I've just got to
Google
make
them
the
if
prettiest
they're,
one show.
edible.
Yeah, totally. And with flowers, as long as you don't spray them, you don't want to have them sprayed in your garden. But
Yeah.
you want to eat it, don't you?
Yes.
So
I'm just trying
we
the
hope that you enjoy this with your roast chicken or your chicken breast or your lamb chops. And I know what it tastes like. It tastes really, really yum. Can you? And I can hear
Crunch,
that
crunch,
crunch,
crunch.
as well. It's just really, really nice, isn't it? So very simple. Just a few ingredients. Chuck it in the oven. In the
And as
oven
you're
about
saying,
190.
making cauliflower the hero of the dish
Yeah.
rather than the meat.
Yeah,
Like-
and I would be serving some lovely fresh green vegetables with that, like
Yum.
beans or something like that, sugar snap peas, snow peas.
Yum.
And you've even got your little jus in the bottom of your roasting tin as well.
Yeah, don't waste
So,
that.
No, absolutely delicious.
Excellent.
All right, so thank you all very, very much for watching today. The hundreds of thousands of people
Oh,
out there on
sure
this
it's going
rainy
viral,
day
yeah.
in Perth. Yeah,
Next week, we're
Next week.
making sausage rolls.
we are making
Special
sausage
ones.
rolls.
Moroccan lamb.
Yeah, Moroccan lamb sausage rolls. So fantastic for like cooking for crowds, or even having the sausage rolls in your freezer ready to go for weekday evening meals, or
Just handy.
yeah, or obviously breakfast on the go. What's
Quick
wrong with
lunch.
having sausage rolls
I
for
know.
breakfast?
That's
as long as you
right.
have some crunchy raw carrots with it or something to just even up that balance of nutrients in there. I can hear Hayley saying, "Mum, you can't have just sausage rolls for breakfast." But there we go. So we will look forward to seeing you next week.